Hey guys, this is Luke. Welcome to another episode of Big, Medium, Small, Drawing Foundations. Today's episode is all about mannequins. We got a great lineup of some of the best, starting with Andrew Loomis. Loomis is a classic that everybody really studies. And one of the things he brings to it is kind of simplicity as well as complexity, which you'll see. So working from left to right, he's got a sort of skeleton mannequin working his way to the right, where it's just a very simplified mannequin. This is the skeleton mannequin again. One of the things that you're going to get out of Loomis's mannequin is a really interesting understanding of the pelvis as well as the shoulder blades. George Bridgeman, probably the most important anatomy book of all time. I've been studying this thing for about 30 years. My dad gave it to me. It's the way that he blocks things in, and plus his understanding of form is just so nuanced. Okay, these are the books by a guy who goes under the name of Morpho. They're just so subtle and smooth and just amazing. One of the things you're going to find in Morpho's construction is a kind of blended anatomy and simplification. All right, this is Steve Huston. Steve Huston, brilliant painter. I first saw his work, his boxing paintings, just amazing. Anyway, these are based largely cross contours and simple forms. Centerline, cross contour, contour. Gives you a lot to work with. Okay, this is Tom Fox. Got Tom Fox Draws, a book, beautiful book. I've been going through it for a little bit now. He has a kind of blocky, square simplicity, but also comprehensive. Griz and Norm, 100 Tuesday Tips. These guys have a sort of animation take on the mannequin, and it's still solid block forms, cross contours, center lines, contour lines, but super useful approach in my opinion. Go back and study each of those. Pick and choose the parts you like. They're all good. I want today's draw along to be a little different. I want for it to be kind of slow. So I'm not speeding up my camera at all. I want to just really crawl through these things together. The first thing we all have to set up is the relationship between the pelvis and the chest. They're essentially two masses. It doesn't matter so much what shape it is that you represent them with. You know, you can't really get it wrong. But what you need is you need to be able to have side planes, you need to be able to have cross contours, you need to be able to have center lines, and you need to be able to set them up so that they juxtapose one another. So look at what I've got here. It's just a simple cube. Then I put a center line in. See the tilt and the way that I establish it? So think about the top cube as the rib cage and the bottom as the pelvis. I'm just seeing how far I can push this. I'm going to do this pelvis with a circle, and I'm going to use kind of an underwear shape. What's important is that you can see that the pelvis is turned a little bit more towards the viewer than the rib cage. That's the lumbar spine. It has that kind of curve to it. Simple cylinders for the legs. These are just the thighs. Those little points, the anterior superior iliac spines. Kind of trying a little bit more of a diamond shape for the head. Like I say, any shape is fine so long as it has a front, side, back. You can mark center lines. Also notice how on successive passes there's a level of refinement that happens. So my early drawing, although I'm being careful, I also know that I'm going to get another shot at it. So I'm going to build a figure now out of spheres. It's still going to be a mannequin. But the first thing that I'm doing, again, establishing the rib cage and the pelvis, center lines, juxtaposition, tilting. The important thing is that it has a feeling of volume, it has a feeling of direction, it has a feeling of emotion and gesture starting. Constantly tracking where I am on the form, like this is the front, this is the side. See how I'm beginning the cylinders? I've just got the two edge lines, and then it's that super necessary ending of the cylinder. And that's the real difference between a drawing that begins feeling flat and one that begins feeling volumetric. What I think is really important is that you use these simple forms, but you allow your intuition to be part of it. We have a really strong intuition on how people look. It's just kind of a power that's inside of us. And so the shapes that you end up choosing for your mannequin, they're going to have a lot to do with you personally. They'll be kind of start to form your voice. I think the mistake I wish wasn't so prevalent was people feeling like this is right and this is wrong with the mannequin. What's right is that you start getting perspective, that you start getting volume, that you have center lines, that you have cross contours. Those are the important ingredients. It doesn't matter if you use a diamond for the head or a circle for the head, or if you use a square for the shoulder or a circle for the shoulder, or if you use a peanut shape for the torso, or if you use a bow tie shape for the torso. There are just so many good approaches. There's a lot of great material also in how to draw manga books. Three main volumes. Kind of just feeling my way. I want to make this figure feel like they're leaning against a wall. Center line for the head. The ends of the shapes, showing volume, showing perspective. When you use flat lines at the ends of those shapes, it has a tendency to just really flatten your figure. The top of the pelvis is a circle. I'm going back in a second pass. I'm creating a little bit of emphasis, being selective, kind of editing my drawing. Just going to speed this section up just a tiny little bit. I'll go back to slow down again. Remember how on the pillow we turned the pillow like a ribbon? See how his torso turning like a ribbon? Kind of the most important thing with the feet is that they're like a big slab. I use, in all of these, what I'm using is a wedge. But also the feet have perspective. Stretching out with cylinders. Do something for the hands and make them big. Don't let the hands be small. Coming up in a couple of lessons, we'll cover specifically how to draw them. But for now, at least try to like have them feel like a slab. See, in this instance, I'm just going to do a kind of, it's like a mitten. Sometimes I'll do a mitten with a thumb on it. Okay, so right now, the box that I built for the chest is feeling a little too big and a little too forward. And so see how on the second pass, I'm just going to make it smaller. Pelvis, I'm following the orientation of the pelvis for the thighs. Kind of like a leaf shape I'm using for the hands, but then I thicken it. I sort of just do like a thickened, almost like a spade. This has to be foreshortened, and the way to do that is just to have the lips of the front of the arm and the back be just close to each other. It starts to become really repetitive. You can kind of, you're just like practicing. See how I'm using the hair as a cross contour? That's the part in the hair, and I'm showing the volume of the head using that. I don't even know where I'm going. I just like start a shape. These are the shapes that I draw with. And I'm thickening. I'm looking at the shape. Okay, so I've established the rib cage and the pelvis. I don't know what this gesture is yet. It's not overly emotional. I'm not really getting anything from it just yet. So see the foreshortening process on the thigh there? See how those two circles overlap? And that makes the cylinder point right at us, as opposed to that cylinder, which is going to be pointing, we're going to be seeing it in profile. I'm starting to get an idea of this character, what's happening with this person. I think it feels to me like a mom sitting on a bench at a baseball game. That's the transverse line, and it gives us the placement of the ears. The neck is always tilted forward a little bit. The neck's a little long. I'm adding the shoulders. So I'm trying to give this a little narrative quality. I want this to be a kid. See how I've made his torso a little thinner and smaller, his neck is long, head is very round. Again, just reinforcing the volumes. Okay, so everything has had two passes. Now I'm really going to be going back with a third pass with a darker pencil. And if you're working with just the same color pencil, you just can use a little bit of a heavier hand right now. And it's our third kind of edit. The lines that look at the way that I darkened the line on the chest, because I want it to come forward from the hand. I'll darken silhouettes for clarity. So the silhouette is the edge. So I'm darkening the edge for clarity. This one is in front of the rib cage, so I can get away with pretty dark line. Anytime I have the opportunity for a cross contour, I take it. So this hand is suffering from getting all confused with the drawing below it. And so I'm going to darken the lines on it. See how I'm just using a wedge for the finger shapes, and I've made it 3D? That's really important. Where a thing comes in contact with the ground, there's going to be occlusion, which is a place where no light gets to. And so I can use a really heavy line there. See how I'm emphasizing the silhouette? I'm also picking lines that I feel have a good design quality, interrelationships. Like these are S lines and soft curving lines. This leg is the front leg, and the lines that are on it will want to be darker than the lines that are on the back leg. See how when I approach the end of that shape towards the front leg, I lighten up. So this is the most forward part of this figure, is that arm. Now look at that arm is further back, so see how I'm lightening as I go back. I'm wanting to clarify this hand against the leg in the background. Again, there's an issue here of a front leg, a back leg. Wanting to bring that part of the body in front of the arm. This arm in front of the body. The third pass, I'm disguising some of the structural work that I did. So probably the mark on his back there is one of the most important marks in that little drawing, because it will establish the foreground. See how the front of the knee I make darker than the back of the knee because it brings it forward. So the whole drawing, I'm not going to do it, but the whole drawing could take another pass now, where I start to really thicken lines, portions of lines, very much like yesterday. I'm emphasizing foreground elements, design elements, silhouettes. This is a work by You and You Glow, and I love the way that the sense of structure is so palpable. Talk soon, guys. Bye-bye.